Good afternoon, everyone. Ryan Hall, your athletic director here at Mayville State. Today we have with us Coach Barry, head baseball coach for your Comets. Coach, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you.
Last time we talked, we were excited about start of the season. You guys were traveling a bit. We had a lot of snow on the ground, and you guys were the road warriors a bit and all over the place. A lot's transpired since then, obviously. Wrapping up the season tomorrow, hopefully, barring the weather, at Valley for a couple games before the conference tournament. Tell us how the season has gone, and who's really stuck out for you throughout this season.
The season thus far has been a mixed bag of good and bad. We're a bit disappointed at this point at where we're at. We thought by the end of the year we'd be a bit more competitive, but the reality of the situation is things always change according to your injury situation, and we've been bitten by that in a couple of cases that have really hurt us, a couple of kids that have really performed well, but nevertheless it's the reality of competition, and we're just in a situation where we're starting to see some glimpses of some good things happening here at the tail end of the season. We're just a little bit disappointed that it took as long as it did for us to be able to see improvement. So that's where we're at. It's really funny from one year to the next how things can change. We had a number of kids returning who had a lot of experience in pursuing championships, who've had a taste of it, who've been in big games and have done a great job. And we brought them back. We had 2 returning outfielders, our middle infield, our catching. So we really felt good about the foundation. But beyond that, we lost some outstanding pitchers, and that was brought up in our earlier conversations. So we were interested to see how things would go from there. Unfortunately, we've been very disappointed with how our pitchers have performed. The kids, I think, have worked very hard. I think they've been coached very well. It's just been disappointing. I think there's a variety of reasons for it, and certainly not to poke fingers at them and to place all the blame on our season on them, but as they well know, and I make it very clear to them, the status of our program, the ability of our team to be successful and to put ourselves in a position to pursue championships revolves around how we perform on the mound. And we have some kids that we think are very capable. We liked our kids, that was undeniable, and we stated that earlier in the year. We just haven't gotten good performances, and we share that with them. Guys, it's all about performing. We've been encouraging to you, we've tried to help you along the way, and it just has not happened.
Yeah.
We've seen a couple of signs here as we get into the latter part of our season, which have been encouraging. In the same breath, we've had some kids that are a little bit dinged up as well, and that has hurt us. So it's the norm. I think it's a pretty normal ebb and flow of a season. You're going to get some of that, and we just have not been able to quite get over the hump. And as I say, it's we can point fingers at a lot of different things. Maybe it's some of our coaching, maybe it's some of our learning, or the kids learning. Some of it is understanding what they need to do to be successful, to perform at this level. That's always a big thing with any kid at any level, whether they came straight out of high school or whether they played at a junior college. They need to understand what they need to do to be successful at our level, and for new kids that's sometimes a tough transition, and I see some of that having happened. We battled inconsistency with playing, so many times we were playing on weekends,
right,
and that was it. Now you have a big gap between the time that you can get practices done, get other games fitted in. It really hurts with your rhythm and the good flow that you would like to have with games being played. So, there's a variety of different things, but ultimately they all end up being excuses. And the bottom line is you have to find a way to get it done. That's life, that's competition. Find a way to get it done. Some way, somehow, find a way. Let's don't waste our time finding excuses. Let's find ways to get it done, and it's been a battle for us. So, it is what it is. We got a great group of kids. We really like them a lot, and so that's all been good. But when it comes down to competition and us performing at the level that we believe we should be performing at, we missed the target. And hopefully, I said all along, I think it's going to take us a while. Well, we're getting down to the nitty-gritties, and we'll see if we can turn some of those things around come tournament time.
And Coach, you're 40 games through. You got 2 at Valley, hopefully tomorrow with the weather. 17 up, 23 down. One of the glaring things that I saw, though, you doing this as long as you have, probably appreciate it, is, dating back to the fall as well, but 12 games at home, 10 wins out of those 12, so 10-2 here at home. How much, I don't even want to say help, but how nice is it to have a few home games? I know last year you were only able to get 1 in, this past weekend and a little bit prior to that, you were able to get some home games this spring and some great crowds as well. How much does that, help the boys just as far as, hey, we got a home game today, have their peers and parents, alumni, you had alumni weekend this past weekend, to be able to play in front of people, in front of the home crowd?
Well, first of all, I'm glad I was sitting down when you gave me those numbers on how many games we'd played at home, because that's actually somewhat shocking.
Including the fall, Coach.
Yes, but we're not accustomed to playing that many games at home, and that's a good thing. And I was not aware that our record was that good at home. But you're absolutely correct. It's the kids love playing at home. You're getting them off the road. If you look at most of our away games this year, we've been driving to Joplin, Missouri. We've been down into
Arizona.
We've been out to Dickinson, out to Arizona. We've traveled many miles to be able to get our games in, and that's I don't care who you are, you get road weary. Kids are student athletes. They've got work to do. Stay up late at night to get that done, to go leave early in the morning. We try to get schoolwork done either at the site we're at or on the bus. Not easy to do, but again, those aren't excuses. It's just, it makes it more difficult. We can get that education. It's just a little bit more difficult to attain, but we must never forget that they're here pursuing their education because of what we are capable of providing them with our baseball program. That's the thing that attracted them here. Most of these kids have had an opportunity to pursue their degree path in many other schools, and a lot of them closer to home, but they've chosen Mayville State because of what we can provide for them on the baseball end of it. So, those things factor into it as well. But back to your original question, does it have a lot to do with it? Absolutely. I think they love doing it. One thing about Mayville over the years is whether it's good weather, bad weather, they have come out and watched us play. They've been very supportive. We really appreciate that. That's one of the beauties of having your facility on your campus. People can walk out after classes. They can come from their offices and do it and not have to jump into their cars. So that part is good. Does it have a big bearing on our kids? Absolutely. They go to a place and the only friend they've got is that guy beside them in the dugout or the guy beside them on the bus, because there's typically nobody there, and you're always fighting against the other team, against their crowds, and it is what it is. So yes, them being here and them being able to get that support means a whole heck of a lot to them, and we really appreciate our supporters.
Well, we were fortunate. We had some beautiful days and, some great games where you guys won some great battles, some one-run games there down the stretch. And you talked about that a little bit in the fact that, you've had a, taste of success here specifically recently. Just looking, I think 5 of our last 7, and might even be more than that. But, you guys, I don't want to say catch fire because you throw all the records out come tournament time, but you have been playing well and getting some good wins for the program. With that said, diving into it, this Thursday you got 2 with Valley tomorrow, but those are not conference games against conference foe, obviously, but doesn't count towards conference standings. What's going to be the keys to make, dare I say, a surprising run? Whereas, looking at past history and what you've done here over many years, probably not, a bit unorthodox as far as being in this situation with the seed, going to be a 5 seed come tournament time. What's it going to take for the guys to be able to make a run and surprise some people for this year?
I think there's 2 clear-cut things that you look at when you look at our season. Number one, when we have been victorious, our pitching has done a good job.
Mm-hmm.
And the second thing is how much run production do we have out of our lineup. We have not been a big scoring team this year. Even in the last week, we won, I think, 4-3, 4-3, 5-4.
Mm-hmm.
We're not scoring a lot of runs.
Mm-hmm.
The bright star of our season has been a freshman who has just gotten better and better and better and better as an offensive performer. Jared McCorster, he tore his ACL here late last week in a game against Viterbo. So without him in the lineup, it has really hurt us a bunch.
Mm-hmm.
And hurt our production. So every game that you saw after that was scoring 4 runs, scoring 5 runs, enough to win those games, but it's going to be difficult to win a lot of games if that's what your run production is going to be. Pitching wise, if we keep the opponent's score down, I know it sounds really simplistic, and I know it's very generic, but it's just the truth.
Right.
You see us giving up 10 runs or more in many contests where we lose games.
Mm-hmm.
And right now we're getting kids to perform a little bit better doing that. Having said that, some of our depth on the mound has been diminished. We've got some kids with boogered up arms. We had one kid quit. We had one kid who hasn't pitched for weeks. We've got a couple of kids right now that we had to pull out of games the other day. It's just, it's been unfortunate. It's been tough, but we thought we still had enough arms to be successful, but you can run out of arms very quickly if you don't get people out.
Right.
And so that again has been a key for us. How well can we get people out? Can we keep people at 5 runs or less?
Mm-hmm.
That'll be absolute key because we don't score a lot of runs.
Right.
And when you take a couple of talented kids out of the lineup who've had success at the collegiate level, who are just banged up and not capable of playing, that hurts you a lot.
Right.
We've had some kids that have had disappointing years, some kids that have performed well in the past that are not performing as they have in the past. Baseball can be that way. If we played another 10, 15 games, you could probably see all of that turn around, but we've got the amount of games that we've got to play, and as it is at this point, we aren't performing real great offensively with people who have performed very well in the past. So it's a combination of a lot of things. It's a team game. We're not going to point fingers at any one of them. It's just a combination of those things happening. We're going to win these games as a team. We're going to lose them as a team, and that is the beauty of the team. That it's a shared proposition, we hope that they're up to the challenge once we jump into the tournament.
Well, I'll tell you, it's been, you're right, for those 5-4 games, 4-3 games, that you want to pull your hair out every play because every play matters, but it's been awesome to see the boys come together this late and just keep on fighting and keep working hard and getting some solid wins down the stretch. I can't wait to get over to Valley this weekend and cheer you guys on. And Thursday, time to be determined right now, still waiting on some final games to finish up, but start the tournament Thursday in Valley, and I think we're playing Waldorf first game.
I believe so.
Yeah, I believe so, and so they finished second in the conference. So excited to see the boys and know you're ready to play. And Coach, before you get out of here, I wanted to congratulate you on 1,100 wins. You've had two pretty big events outside of the actual on the field stuff with 1,100 wins. Obviously that's on the field, but a long history of success, as well as having one of your former players now pitching for the Miami Marlins. So two huge cornerstones for you, obviously, in your career. Can you tell us a little bit about that, how much that meant to you, the 1,100, and then also having one of your young men now pitching for the Miami Marlins?
Well, thanks for asking, because I'm always very happy to visit about that. And when I think all coaches who are longtime coaches who've had a chance to experience educating young men, it's really a thrill for me. I get far too much credit for 1,100 wins. I was around for 1,100 wins. That's my feeling. And I won't deny I contributed.
Absolutely.
But that is the beauty of the team. It's the beauty of the family. When you get people contributing, it makes such an extreme difference. When you get people cooperating, it makes such a difference. When you get young men that are willing to be taught and are willing learners and buy into your program, that's the beauty of it all. It's so many young men over the years that have accepted what I was teaching, and if you don't get that, you never have a chance to be on the positive side of education. You just don't.
Right.
I tell my coaches, I tell whoever I can, I've seen a lot of very intelligent and capable and outstanding people who were my teachers who didn't have success because maybe of classroom management. It was never because of expertise.
Right.
They had a lot of it, and so my run here could be complicated if I had a bunch of people that were not willing to cooperate, or if I didn't push and challenge them to do those types of things. And so my job, by and large, is pushing a lot of buttons, trying to help people accomplish the vast amount of things that they can, or maybe never did believe that they could do. And that's what's enjoyable. It's a lot of times making comfortable people very uncomfortable with your challenges, with your expectations, with your demands, and with your requests. But when you have people that accept that, and sometimes they don't even know why, but they accept that and they do that to later find out it was really important stuff, then you can have some fabulous things happen. And so for me, the 1,100 is more of a nostalgia thing. It's thinking back to the guys who were there for the very first win, and it's the guys that you're able to enjoy championships with, and for them to be able to enjoy the fruits of their labor by being, for just being a part and making their contribution and knowing that they were important to what we were doing and that they're special. To help teach them that being a man of service and of encouragement is so important in life, and so many of those life lessons that apply to competition as well as life, they're just fun to see, because being around as long as I have, it comes back to you.
Right.
And it's just so delightful. I'm just so thrilled for the former players, for the people that have helped helped me coach, for administrations that have supported me, for faculty and staff that have supported me. This is all something that they feel that they contributed to. I know that they wouldn't, because there's so many humble people, and that's just what they do.
Right.
They do wonderful and fascinating and productive things just so naturally, and they're so genuine. And so they're happy to do that. They just don't quite realize the impact they've had too.
Right.
Because it isn't something I could do alone. I had to have had a lot of positive encouragement for them. I've had to have been challenged by them, critiqued by them, but it's us working together to make positive things happen that I'm just so grateful for and very, very blessed. So I get a lot of the accolades, but to be quite honest, I appreciate them very much, but I'm just so delighted for the kids, because every single one of them know that they have contributed in some way to those 1,100, and there's a lot of wonderful memories to have been made from doing that. So I'm happy about that. In regards to Nick Anderson, we're just really beaming with pride with Nick being able to accomplish what he has. He's quite a story.
Yeah.
I mean, you could write a book about his background and his experiences. It's really been a great one, and it's a great lesson for not only Mayville State people, but everybody, any young man who's had a dream and pursued it to the best of their ability, to have been blessed by God with the physical talents, but also the mental wherewithal to be able to withstand the extremely pressure-filled, pressure-packed situations that he would be in, and to respond in such a positive way to it. So for us, feeling like we have, in some small way, have contributed to his growth, his maturation, to provided him an opportunity to pursue his dream, we are really grateful for that, and we're really blessed to have had him in our programs. So if people aren't familiar with Nick Anderson with the Miami Marlins, they need to check it out, because he's setting records in Miami. He's leading the entire major leagues in certain categories. So I encourage you to check him out, because he's making us Mayville State proud and Comets proud all over the place.
And Coach, I've gotten a chance to watch him, and you're right. He's a great pitcher and fun to watch. So waiting for you to get those plane tickets for us to fly out to Miami to see him play, though.
Absolutely.
Whenever you finish those up, you let me know.
Absolutely. Right. So we'll see what we can work out.
All right. All seriousness, Coach, again, congrats on some great milestones, and challenging season, but a good season, and one that I'm really anxious to see how it ends up, because with your experience and the amount of success you've had, I know the boys believe, and can't wait to get out to Valley. So starting this Thursday conference tournament, Coach, thanks for coming on today during this busy time, and appreciate it, and go Comets.